Atelier Interactive Professional Artist Acrylic expands the acrylic painting process. As a professional paint, Interactive is light fast and it's available in 75 buttery shades that dry to a rich satin finish with little to no color shift. What's really exciting is that Interactive has a unique formulation, a formulation that allows artists to use all their traditional acrylic fast drying techniques, plus it allows artists plenty of time to explore new wet and wet blending techniques. Interactive offers artists creative freedom, the freedom to paint the way they want, when they want, simply by using a water sprayer to replace some lost moisture. How does this work? It's pretty simple. Interactive doesn't form that immediate hard shell like conventional acrylics because it cures over time. Interactive will go through a pretty unique drying process. It'll go from a nice wet stage, where you feel it on your canvas, and then it'll go to a tacky stage, and then it'll become what we call touch dry, until it cures. And it's at this touch dry stage where artists can use all their traditional acrylic painting techniques. They can do some glazing, like I'm just going to do here in my sky. They could do scumbling, they could do some overpainting techniques, whatever they want. Interactive becomes touch dry fairly quickly, but how quickly is going to depend on the humidity in your environment, on how thickly you're painting, on what type of surface you're painting on, and of course what mediums you've added. Now, if you were painting with conventional acrylics and your layers dry, you'd be locked out, because once it's dry with conventional acrylics, it's dry. You don't have really any other options. But with Interactive, you do have options. If you want to use your wet over dry techniques, you can, but you can also use these new wet and wet, slow drying blending techniques. And it's pretty simple. All you need to do is use your water sprayer. So when you're painting, as I am right here, what you'll find is that the paint's going to go from being nice and creamy, and then it's going to feel tacky. You're going to actually feel your brush start to drag. All I need to do is just use my water sprayer to replace that moisture, and I spray just enough until my fingers kind of glide on the surface. And now you can see my brush moves easily, and I'm able to actually blend and kind of work wet and wet. So now you can see that color matching is going to be really easy. You don't have to worry about acrylics darkening when they dry, because with Interactive, all you need to do is simply rehydrate your paint, use your water sprayer, bring those colors back to their wet values. And if you see that you need to maybe mix in a little bit more color, maybe you want to just kind of lighten a value a little bit, you can, because your paint is wet. Or if you decide that you really, really like this one particular color, you can actually match wet color on your palette to the wet color on your painting, and you know that they're going to dry the same. But there's even more, because if it's the next day or even days later, you can use this medium called the unlocking formula to reopen your touch dry paint, allowing you to blend, allowing you to feather, and kind of adjust your values. It's important to remember that in gaining access to all of these new slow drying wet and wet blending techniques, you haven't lost any of the traditional fast drying acrylic painting techniques that you might wish to retain.